Born on July 12, 1994, in the community of Attawapiskat, Shannen Koostachin was someone who was about to take a stand. Her school was a makeshift portable and held only 2 classes, was falling apart constantly, so much so that they had to wear jackets in class in the winter so they wouldn't get frostbite. Koostachin realized quite soon that the government provided very little for on-reservation schooling. Her beliefs were snowballed even further after the government backed away from their promise of building a new school in Attawapiskat in 2007. Due to this, Shannen and her fellow students, even students across Canada, fled to YouTube, Facebook, and other social medias to raise awareness. Eventually, she founded the Students Helping Students campaign. Then, in 2008, she led hundreds of her peers onto Parliament Hill in protest of the underfunding of Indigenous and First Nation schools. She was only 13 at this time. Shannen Koostachin encouraged writing to officials and members of Parliament to make change happen. For her determination, she was nominated for the Children's Peace Prize, and she was also named one of 150 greatest Canadians. And in the same list was Terry Fox. Later, her and her sister had to move to high school in New Lakeshead, Ontario. Sadly, she died on June 1st, 2010, after she was in a car accident. Her family refused to let her ideals and perseverance die with her. So Serena, her sister, made Shannen's dream. In her memory, a statue was built of Shannen in traditional regalia dancing. DC Comics also came out with an indigenous superhero named Equinox, their first ever indigenous superhero. With continued support for her family and Shannen's dream, on the day she was meant to graduate, June 22nd, 2012, a school with her name was starting to be constructed. It opened in 2014 on the 8th of September. At the age of only 13, she led a massive protest that brought to light the issues of subpar funding on reservations for education. Organized, determined, and strong-willed, she gathered her forces, and even though she would never see it completed, through her work and leadership, change had truly begun to happen. Shannen Koostachin should be remembered as she was, a strong leader who persevered to do what was right.
So that was the old school that was contaminated by the oil spill 30 years back. And it's gone now, like they totally removed it. So it's just plain ground, nothing there anymore. So, of course, that's the reason why it bothered Shannen. You know, she's like, I guess it came up to her, it really bothered her to the point where she realized more of how unfortunate some Aboriginal communities are without having a good, comfy school. So, with that being said, she started talking. She spoke, and she spoke. And along the way, more kids, more communities started getting involved. So she spoke more, and more people started being more aware of not only Attawapiskat, like it's not just about Attawapiskat, but it's about the communities and communities like reservations too, that have to endure this. That one's my favorite, the Ottawa. So with that campaign, she started getting more followers. But unfortunately, Shannen, right when everything was starting to move, Shannen passed away in a car accident June 1st, 2010. And it was really devastating. Like, here's a girl who had her dreams. She wanted to become a lawyer. And I asked her, Shannen, why would you want to become a lawyer? Because in what I see in a lawyer and on TVs and such, like a lawyer is such a stressful job. But then she said, I want to be a lawyer because I want to help those people setting what's right and what's wrong. Like I want to show them, not show them, but I want to help them, especially the Aboriginal people, she said.